Welcome back to my channel. If you don't know me, I'm a photographer and photography educator, and I love to travel. Today I'm going to be showing you how I use Google Maps to put together all of my travel plans and how I use this map while I'm traveling. So we'll start with how to create the map itself and then how I use it. So I'm going to be showing you on my screen here how you want to get started. So you'll go to Google Maps, you'll click the menu, and you'll go to Your Places. Once you're on Your Places, you'll click Create Map at the bottom, and I would just name it where you're going for your trip. So I'm going to say I'm going to Rome, and I'll click Save. You can name your layers if you would like. So I'll just say Rome Places. All right, and I'm going to scroll over to Italy. So some things that I would recommend adding to your map. First of all, where you're going to be staying. And the order that I'm doing these is really based off of the order for the tips for travel planning. I'm going to link that video in the card as well as in the description down below. But I go through a certain order when I'm planning out a trip. And one of the early things that we plan is our Airbnbs, so where we're staying. And I think it's important to have that on your map so you can always quickly look and see where you are in relation to your home base. So what I'm going to do here first is zoom in a little bit to Rome. And I'm going to add in an Airbnb that we stayed at before, which was one of our most favorite locations. And so we loved this Airbnb because it had a view looking out the window directly at the Pantheon. And so what you'll do as you're adding places is I have just typed in the address in the box at the top, and I would click Add to Map. You'll notice it starts as this little green map pinpoint, but the cool thing is that you can customize each of your items on the map. So once I hit add to map, you'll see it's there now under my Rome places. Something that I recommend that really helps me when I'm glancing at my map is to come up with a color code system that makes sense for you. So for example, I always do our Airbnb as a greenhouse. Sometimes we stay in multiple Airbnbs in a location just depending on our schedule. And then I'll also have a color code system for coffee shops, places for breakfast, lunch, dinner, and then any specific highlights like the starting location where we're meeting a tour. And so I'll show you how I'm going to customize each of these details. So I've got my Airbnb here. I'll go to Style, and I like to make my Airbnb green and a house. And so you'll notice how it's adjusted there. If there's any special information that you want to add about the location, you can do that as well. And so next, I've got my list here of important places that I want to save to my map. This is something that I always do before the trip because it really makes your life easier in your travel planning. So now that I've got my Airbnb on the map, I want to start adding in specific places that I would like to visit. And for me, one of the highlights in traveling is restaurants. So I'm going to start adding those in. The first one I'm thinking of is a restaurant that we saw from someone that we follow on Instagram that lives in Rome. So I've typed in the place name and I'm going to click Add to Map. Once again, I can customize it. So for me, anywhere that I'm setting as a lunch place, I'll do as a light blue with the little food icon. And then for dinner, I'll set it as a darker blue with that same icon. So when I'm glancing at my map, I can see exactly what these locations are. This is really helpful if you're out and about, you're traveling around, you're walking different places, and you want to quickly look at your map and find somewhere that you've saved that you would like to eat, rather than sitting there scrolling TripAdvisor or something like that. You can look at the places that you'd like to visit. So I've got this one saved. You can also go in and add any special notes or images. Sometimes I'll add screenshots of things that I've taken from Instagram or other websites, maybe reminders of what food I would like to order at this place. And so you can see now I've got these on my list here. I'll show you one more. I want to remember to go to this coffee shop. That is one of the really well-known ones in Rome. It just came to me. And so I will add this to my map, and then I'm going to customize it. I add coffee shops as brown, and then you can see there's more icons here as well. I was hoping it would come up for coffee, but it comes up as cafe. Fine. So I'll add that and I'll say okay. And now you can see the icon has changed. Again, if there's anything specific I want to remember to order, I'll add that in the caption as well, and I'll hit save. So I'm going to speed things up and work on adding in some more locations, just so you can see what my map will look like as I add in more destinations. So for this one, I'm adding in specifically what I want to order from the location. And that's an affogato di zabaione, which is espresso with zabayon gelato inside of it. And I also have a screenshot that I would add in of an image of that. I've got the name of the place and specifically what I wanted to order, which I could put that in the caption as well if you'd rather do it that way, and I would hit save. And I'll keep going. So for this one, this is a lunch spot that we want to be sure to visit. I've got the name on top, and then I added in some details in the caption. So I added the show that we saw this on. It's a show that we watch on YouTube called Munchies. And then specifically some of the food that we want to try at this place. I changed the icon to a light blue silverware, which tells me that's a lunch spot. And now you can see that's on my list here as well. Let's add some more. Now I'm adding in a breakfast spot. So I do that with the silverware once again, but this time I do it as yellow. I just think of morning, sun shining, and so that's why I use that color code. I've got the name here, and then I've got some details that I want to add into the notes. Something that I also do just to keep myself organized, as I'm starting to add things to my list here, and over here, by the way, I'm referencing different notes that I have, things that I've saved to Instagram, and all of these things is why I use the Google Maps to keep it organized in one specific place. To keep me even more organized, I like that you can drag and reorder the items on your list. So I like to do breakfast and then coffee, or I could put coffee above that even. So I'm dragging to reorder coffee shops, breakfast, and then I'll pull this down below because that's a dinner spot. And let's keep adding some more. So this one I'm adding is a rooftop bar now, and it's actually located inside of a hotel, so that's why I've listed it that way. I've changed the icon to a cocktail glass, and I've labeled it as pink. I can add in details once again, if needed. Now I can see that on my map. Because I'm in Rome and cocktails and aperitivo come before dinner, I'm dragging that just above my dinner spots. So this gelato spot I was looking for isn't coming up where I should have it. So I'm going to try another one that I want to visit. And so for gelato, for a gelateria, I'm going to make it an ice cream icon. And I'm going to add some notes. When it's restaurants, we'll usually add in specific things that we want to remember to order. This is one that I did not mean to tag, so I'm just going to delete it with the little trash can. So now you can see how I've added quite a few different locations to my map here. I've got everything from my Airbnb, espresso bars, breakfast, lunch, dinner, rooftop bars, and of course gelaterias. This helps me a lot when we're traveling because I can easily glance at my map and see where we are in relation to where we want to go. The food places is something that I can't recommend putting on your map enough, and all of this really comes into play when you're planning your trip. This is something that I feel is very important to do beforehand, and if you haven't seen it yet, I actually have a video where I give you 8 simple steps to plan the best trip, and building your Google map is actually step 8 where you're putting it all together. The other thing that I really love about these Google Maps is that you can download them to your device and you can even use it offline, which is really a lifesaver and can make you feel so much more comfortable in a place, knowing that you can easily use your phone and navigate from where you are to the next location. So I hope this video helped you out, and I hope that you can use this tip for planning your next adventure. Thanks for watching. Please hit the like button if this video helped you out, and I would love if you would subscribe. I've got lots of new travel tips coming out as well as photography-based content. Thank you for watching and have a great day.